Welcome back to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship and race number 4 of the 6th race weekend of the season here in Zolder, Belgium. And we are about to get started, and I'm just up here because I had to find these signs. This is like normally what the drivers get to see once the right person is standing up here. But as we're on a delay as well, I meant to apologize to you this way. There has been some other racing going on this track, and this is why we decided to start out once the truck racing actually is really about to get started. So this is for me up here because I really have to run down. The trucks are about to come to the starting line, but of course, Jess Traycott, our English commentator, will be with you as well. So see you in a second.
Thank you very much, Lena. Yes, hello everybody. Time for the final race of the weekend here at Zolder in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We had a fantastic time earlier on in race 3, which was unfortunately red flagged though, but we're going to take a quick look back at how the action unfolded earlier and set us up for the final race of the weekend. There's my good friend Fleishy. So everybody lined up on the grid, ready for a wonderful race 3 after another sturdy qualifying session from Norbert Kish. He lined up alongside Sasha Lenz on the front row with Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete behind. The two of them had lap times deleted from their qualifying session, which put them back onto the second row. Norby opened up an early advantage while all the runners and riders tried to chase him, and it was Sasha Lenz that would eventually come home in second place ahead of Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Andrei Kurzin was defending for his life ahead of Stefan Fass the whole way through, but unfortunately due to Louis Requenco's humongous failure here, the race had to be red flagged. There was a lot of oil and fluid put down onto the circuit, but luckily the main news is that Louis Requenco was perfectly okay. The fire went out very quickly, did not make its way into the cab or cause any issues for him himself, but hopefully the truck would have been repaired in time. I'm afraid in terms of the components that it roasted during the massive fire that we saw, the truck was not able to come back out for the final race of the day. But the best news though is that Louis is perfectly fine. Unfortunately, that meant the race was red flagged, and it was the second red flag of the weekend. Norbert Kish declared the race winner ahead of Sasha Lenz and Jochen Hahn, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez winning in the Promoters' Cup. Stefan Fass and John Newell completed the Promoters' Cup podium. As you can see though, it's still a lovely clear day here at Zolder in Belgium. The conditions have been very kind to us this weekend, and we certainly do thank whoever has decided to let the weather be good to us this weekend. There has been no rain, no even clouds in the sky here at Zolder. It's been glorious stuff to watch, and the conditions have been perfect. This is how the championship looks then after 3 races so far this weekend, coming into this final one of the event. Norbert Kish is currently top of the pile on 295 points, with Jochen Hahn on 227 and Sasha Lenz on 204. Antonio Albacete on 192 in 4th position, with quite a gap back now to Andrei Kurzin, who is 10 points, I should say, ahead of Steffi Halm. Jamie Anderson next up ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Lucas Hahn and Stefan Fass quite close together in the points, but of course Lucas Hahn unfortunately not here racing with us this weekend. We do hope to see him back in some of the final race meetings of the season, but the young star is very busy away from the racing as well. I'm told that in a few moments' time we will be doing our usual and welcoming our wonderful TV viewers from all around the world. Something that we're doing this season, instead of just of our live streaming online, is having an international TV broadcast across many international channels as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let the silence ring out for a moment while we bring in our fans from around the world. All right, mate, the race will get going in a minute. I'll see you in a few, everybody.
Welcome back to Belgium, Zolder, and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Truck racers and racing fans from all over the world. Yeah, we are back in the field for race number 4 of the 6th race weekend of the season, and we're about to get started. But beforehand, of course, we will have some interviews and our lovely commentator, Jess Craycott.
Thank you, Lena. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. A thumbs up there from Stefan Fass, who's just pre-hydrating, as we heard from earlier. Sean Petherbridge, part of the FIA Medical Commission, was speaking to Lena and talking about pre-hydrating, rather than just hydrating when you feel thirsty, making sure that you are pre-hydrated before a hot race day like this. My name is Chaz Draycott. I've got my wonderful colleagues Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Cebrian commentating in German and Spanish as well. If you do want to see our live streams online with their commentary, then you can go and find them on the FIA European Truck Racing Championship YouTube channel, or I should say the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship YouTube channel. Don't want to get myself in trouble. I'm sorry, Barbara. You can see there the official truck and the pace truck at the front of the grid, ready to do their inspection lap and then formation lap as we do. But the grid is lined up behind them with Stefan Fass and Andre Kurzim ready to do battle once again from the front. We're going to go back down though to Lena, who's there on the grid in amongst the action.
Exactly, because on race number 3 we had a huge fireball going on and everybody was a little shocked because our Spanish driver, he happened to have, he did not have an accident, but of course there was some oil that started burning, and Mr. Albacete was handing out his engineer as he's able to speak English and Spanish, so we'll have a quick interview in Spanish. So for all the Spanish fans out there, I think you will enjoy this a lot. So just let us know what has been going on and why you cannot race for now.
¿Por qué no puedes correr ahora? ¿Qué es lo que ha pasado? Explica un poco.
Bueno, el motor, he sentido una vibración y bueno, se ha roto el motor. O sea, algo bastante grande, vamos, para no poder reparar.
He felt a little vibration, but then the big explosion, so it was a massive failure and they couldn't repair it on time.
Does he think that this was just like a mechanical issue, that something went off, or was it something maybe because of the heat, something exploding again, turbo issue, something?
Dice que si crees que ha sido por el calor o es nada más que una cosa que tenía que pasar por el tema de fatiga.
Yo creo que tenía que pasar por tema de fatiga, no por el calor. No, hace mucho calor, por supuesto, pero no, está todo preparado para ello, para soportarlo.
Yeah, it's really very hot. It's a very hot race, but he thinks it's unrelated, that it was just a fatigue issue due to the engines being so strong, but cooling was not a problem.
So he's here with his small team. I think he also will help himself to get the truck fixed, I'm pretty sure, or have some helping hands. How long does it take to get the car fixed? And I think he will be back in Le Mans, no?
Dice que si te va a dar tiempo para arreglarlo para la próxima carrera, que cuánto crees que hace falta para arreglarlo.
Sí, se va a arreglar, por supuesto, no pasa nada. Y ya hay otro preparado, ya se están haciendo todas las gestiones para colocar otro motor nuevo y estar, por supuesto, preparado para la siguiente en Le Mans. Sí.
He said no problem to fix it. They couldn't do it for here just to be sure in the side of safety. But for Le Mans, it will be no problem at all. They will have it fixed and ready for action.
We saw a lot of people around the track standing down there next to his booth. Jochen Hahn also had a look. The FIA had a look, of course, because they had to know what was going on. So this is always, of course, magic. Like when something big happens, we're all happy you're doing fine. And I have to give you my respect because you did a great job breaking the car into the field as it was burning.
Dice que es súper impresionante el esfuerzo que se hace para venir a la carrera, que siente mucho respeto por vosotros los equipos, que lográis tenerlo todo a punto para correr.
Bien, nos gusta mucho esto, por tanto estamos acostumbrados al sacrificio continuo, vamos.
He said we all love this and we are used to sacrifice and long hours, so it's not a problem for us.
Right, so muchas gracias to the both of you, and maybe a quick talk to Mr. Albacete himself, because you're still in the race. You had a lot of fun this weekend. I would say you had a lot of fighting going on. So what will we see in race number 4 of you, or performance right now?
Oh, well, I mean, race number 4, I mean, it's always, let's say, a lottery, you know. we will have to try to survive, but it's going to be difficult, because the guys in front are quick also. They are very quick, so it's not going to be easy to pass. So I think it's going to be a good race. I mean, a race for watch.
Do you also have some words in Spanish for the Spanish fans out there who might have joined you for all those years?
Sí, bueno, la verdad es que es un fin de semana, hemos tenido altibajos, pero bueno, ahora esta carrera número 4 va a ser bastante peleada. Los pilotos que están delante son pilotos rápidos también y no va a ser fácil pasarlos, van a luchar por posición y yo tengo que intentar sacar algún punto más que Lenz, así que vamos a intentarlo.
Muy bien, I understood that you're in 4th position right now and you're still fighting for more, so that's the Spanish I understood. Okay, Chess, I'm learning a lot of languages from all over the world down here, and I will find Steffi Halm now, because she really had some issues going on. So back to you for now, and let's go find Steffi. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena. And I can tell you that the translation for what Antonio said there is, I'm going to absolutely send it and win the race. Watch this. There you go. Here is the Ford F-Max inspection lap. You can watch this all you want. It's a wonderful bit of kit, this Ford F-Max. And we have the blue and white example of R2 that we have this weekend out on the circuit. We have a orange and black one as well that's usually found in the innovation camp and around the paddock as well. If you ever do come to our race meetings, keep your eye out for them and take lots of lovely pictures for them and send them to us on our socials as well. Now, this Ford F-Max, this specific model, was designed and tested by 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period. I hope you like the number 5, because this involved 15,500 hours of lab testing and 5 million kilometres of road testing, which gives us this fantastic machine here, the 2019 International Truck of the Year, the Ford F-Max. And our partnership with Ford Trucks goes on strong for another year, and we thank them for their support for the series and, of course, everything they do with us. Now, the Ford itself is not just going around there for a pointless formation lap. I'm just going to quickly throw down to Lena, though. We're going to go back down to her.
Yeah, because there's no Steffi Halm. I'm like, this is the best interview I ever had. I can just give myself the answers. So there has to be a really big issue going on. Unfortunately, the camera was not on her truck, as she had an accident in the last race. She also had a flat tire in the race beforehand. So this really has not been her lucky moment in Belgium. And I will try to find her for a little interview later. But as you can hear, the engines are getting started. We will have the 1-minute sign in quite a second, so I will be walking out and let you enjoy the last race of this weekend. Finally, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Not sure if you all wondered whether Lena was going to run into that flagman or not there, but I certainly held my breath for a second there. But yes, the engines are getting started. As I was going to say, the Ford F-Max was not going around the circuit on a pointless sort of formation lap as a parade. We use it as an inspection lap, so it just checks that there's no debris, nothing in terms of a spillage or anything on the circuit that can affect our racing before it gets completed. So we're going to get underway in just a moment. It's going to be Stefan Fass and Andre Kurzim who were doing battle in the third race of the weekend on the front row once again. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Jamie Anderson will make up the second row of the grid. There is the gorgeous yellow and white Iveco S-Way of Andre Kurzim, the fantastic Don't Touch Racing team colours, certainly running bright and vibrant yet again. There's Connie Tolkun. I've done that twice this weekend, called her Tony instead of Connie. I'm so sorry, darling. But Connie making her way off the grid now. After the final checks, the last few personnel will make their way off into the pit lane and prepare for the racing to get underway. They are told via swirling of the yellow flags to start their engines if they have not already, and we'll be ready to go. Look at the gorgeous blue metallic sheen on the Iveco S-Way pace truck here. Certainly looks glorious in the sunshine. We'll talk more about that machine in a moment. But unfortunately, a slightly reduced grid for this one, with Steffi Halm and Louis Requenco not taking to the grid this time after their issues in the previous race. So Steffi Halm, I believe, had a steering box failure in her truck, so that's why it ended up hitting the wall. She couldn't steer, as I mentioned before. During the race, I thought that something maybe had broken that meant that she couldn't then steer away from the wall itself. There's all of the engineers. There is Jose Rodriguez as well, father of Jose Eduardo. He's raced with us for the last couple of years, and he is now Jose Eduardo's race engineer. They'll all be ready and waiting to watch the green lights and watch the lights go out and shout go when the race gets underway. And the green flag is waved at the front here, everybody. A fantastic sight as all of our racing trucks follow on from the Iveco S-Way, the bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way, reducing emissions by up to 90%. This bio-LNG powered beast loses no torque or performance in terms of horsepower compared to its usual diesel internal combustion engine counterparts. It's got a wonderful interior as well, that Iveco S-Way. It's a very top of the range model, very quick indeed, and with a fantastic driver at the wheel as well, our very lovely Frank, our official pace truck driver for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He certainly does a great job. He was the driver that I first ever went round a lap of Misano with, actually, in that Iveco S-Way itself. Scared the living daylights out of me to believe that a machine can move that quickly at that size. But that's one of the best things about truck racing, everybody. These trucks that you see on your screens now, maybe not that Iveco, but the racing trucks behind are all 5 tons at least. Stefan Fass is on pole position, though, alongside Andre Kurzim. As I said before, they had a great scrap. Andre was defending beautifully, and he now starts second on the grid. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez starts alongside Jamie Anderson on row 2. Jamie hoping for some big points out of this final race after what's been quite a difficult weekend so far. Antonio Albacete starts in 5th place with Jochen Hahn in 6th alongside him. A great third row of the grid, actually, that, isn't it? Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish next up. Norby has won 2 races so far this weekend. Can he make it a third, or can Sascha Lenz finally get that first win of the season that he's been so close to getting? It's an all-British Promoters Cup 5th row of the grid with John Newell and Mark Taylor. Both have been having a bit of a tough weekend, but had a great break in that third one. And then Jonathan Andre will start 11th. Unfortunately, Steffi Halm not making it to the grid to take up her 12th spot on this one. And it'll be just Heinrich Clemens-Hecker at the back of the grid for this final race. They had a few issues earlier on with black smoke with that truck. So basically, as part of the sustainability of the championship, there are observers and lambda sensors and a lot of measures to make sure that the trucks do not emit black smoke over the course of a race or any session, and if they are seen to be doing so past a certain point, then they will be told to come into the pits, please, and sort it out. And if they can't, then that will be them out of the race. Heinrich Clemens-Hecker back with us, though, which is good. He joins on at the back of the pack in what would be 12th position. As you see, Frank really throwing the Iveco S-Way into the Boulderberg box, the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. And the entire field following them round as Thunderstruck by AC/DC rings out around the circuit during our formation laps. Now Frank will bring the Iveco into the pit lane. He'll come straight down here towards our camera. And as you'll see, he'll throw it into the corner. Watch this. No mucking about. Fantastic stuff. He's so entertaining when he's behind the wheel, is Frank. And hopefully our racing drivers will be entertaining behind the wheel as well. For one last time this weekend, everybody, hold on to your hats, because round 24 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is about to get underway. They make their way towards the start-finish line. They all hop off the line, and moving straight into the middle goes Jochen Hahn. He decides that he wants to fill that gap next to Antonio Albacete. Andre Kurzim dives to the inside, down the inside of Stefan Fass. Doesn't quite work for him. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has to get on the brakes. There's no actual change of position for Jochen Hahn despite that very sprightly start. He's stuck behind Jamie Anderson going in towards turn 2. Steffi Halm has made it out into the race. That's great to see. She's back out onto the circuit from the pit lane. Lovely stuff. We'll have to keep our eye on her and see how she makes up places as the race goes on. Stefan Fass continues to lead them, though, down towards the Lucien Bianchi box. Then it's Andre Kurzim, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Jamie Anderson following on as well. Loads of dust being kicked up there on the exit of the right-hander. But it's Albacete ahead of Hahn, then Kish and Lenz. So Norbert Kish making his way up into 7th position already, past Sascha Lenz, side by side through the chicane. You're very brave, aren't you, gents, as they go through there. Seems like they all sorted it out on the exit of the corner. It's Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn that are side by side. Norbert Kish will definitely take advantage of that one as they come back down the hill. And Albacete is the one that's in front in 5th position here. So he contains his 5th position that he started in. Just keeping my eye on the Promoters' Cup there, actually. Currently led by Stefan Fass at the very front of the field. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is hoping for a clean sweep. He's won every other race so far this weekend in the Promoters' Cup. Can he do it again? Hard on the brakes into the Boulderberg box they go. In terms of the Promoters' Cup, John Newell is 3rd in the category at the moment, ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Mark Taylor and Jonathan Andre a bit further down the pack. A big gap between those guys, and obviously the first couple of runners and riders. But Stefan Fass commanding the pack at the moment, doing everything he can do to hold on to that lead. These reverse grid races are always so tantalising because the quicker drivers on paper tend to come through from the likes of 8th, 7th, 6th and 5th places and try and overtake some of those that have been reversed to the front of the grid. It's always the excitement. It's the last day of school vibe, as we say, at the end of the weekend. Everybody knows that they've got a bit of time to cool off after these 4th races of a weekend, so they certainly do go for it. They've got longer to repair the trucks as well. Not that they're going to try and damage each other, but they certainly do get their elbows out a bit. Heinrich Clemens Hecker there having a go at John Newell, trying to see whether he can gain 3rd place in the Promoters' Cup. But Stefan Fass, he's got a couple of truck lengths over Andre Kurzim at this moment in time. He was under pressure from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, but Jose Eduardo was backed off slightly in these first couple of corners. As Norbert Kish now looks down the inside of Jochen Hahn into the chicane, gets it done. Jochen gives him the room. Nice respectful stuff between the two of them, and Norby continues on, fires his way out of the chicane. Sasha Lenz says, I fancy a bit of that, Jochen, thanks very much. Jochen closes the door in his face, and Sasha has to get out of that one. He won't be too pleased with that, will Sasha? Into the Villeneuve chicane again they go. Jamie Anderson all over the back of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's hoping for some sort of opportunity to come through. Antonio Albacete sticking right behind him at this moment in time. Down the hill they go, back towards the Boulderberg Bocht. Still in one big train. John Newell, you can see there, still in touching distance of Sasha Lenz's truck as well, actually, the number 3. And Steffi Halm now closing in on all of those behind. Oh, sorry, all those ahead, I should say. There's Norbert Kish looking down the inside already. Is he trying it on Antonio Albacete? Yes, he is. Norbert Kish into the final chicane, gets another move done already here. Everybody's been saying there's so many places to overtake around this circuit. It seems like Norbert Kish is the only one that's doing any of it at the moment. He looks down the inside already down the start-finish straight. Doesn't sit in any of the slipstream behind anybody else. At the end of the day, you don't want much slipstreaming in truck racing. It's only for that initial burst of acceleration to get up to 100 miles an hour that it could prove useful. As, whoa, dearie me, that's a lot more dust than just somebody dipping a wheel. And it says to me that Stefan Fass has dipped more than a wheel off the edge of the circuit there. A lot of dust, and he's lost a lot of time. He's having to defend hard now from Andre Kurzim, and Andre going one way then the other. Hard onto the brakes, and Norbert Kish again down the inside of another driver. He tries it on Jamie Anderson. Jamie has to sort of skip over the curb slightly. Don't think he gained anything from that, but he was able to sort of hold the position at least. And the battle continues as they go into the Villeneuve chicane. Norby glancing the back of Jamie's truck almost, trying to go one way then the other and get a cutback as they go down towards the Turleman Bocht. Hits the penalty marker on the outside there, does Jamie. Not trying to get you in trouble, Jamie, but we all saw it. Stefan Fass now trying to hold on to this lead still with Kurzim and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind. Norby sends it up the inside. Gets it done on the brakes, and is Antonio Albacete going to be able to come through as well and make an extra move down the inside into the chicane? Antonio certainly looks. He's on the inside line of Jamie. Is he going to be able to outdo him on the brakes? Oh, nearly. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two of them through the first part of the Jackie X box, but I think maybe Antonio just going a little bit deep there into the chicane. He comes out of it behind Jamie after a bit of contact, and Jochen Hahn even in there as well. Actually, Jochen's made a bit of ground on him. Bit of bodywork missing on Jochen's truck. Sasha Lenz sends it down the inside of Antonio. Nothing doing there. Look how closely they follow one another in this championship. I suppose because the drivers are so close to the front of these cabs, they can always see where the front of the machine is. As Jochen sends one down the inside of Jamie Anderson. I don't think there was contact between the two of them there, but it certainly looked close to it. Norbert Kish breaking away, chasing after that rainbow at the front of the pack. Let's look at this side-by-side action there between Jochen Hahn and Jamie Anderson. The two of them right together. More dust kicked up from Stefan Fass and Andre Kurzim. Jamie Anderson is under investigation, apparently. I think that's for the penalty marker earlier on that he is reported to have hit. I don't know who mentioned that. Jamie down the inside into the Kleiner chicane. Antonio has to turn in a little bit later to make sure there isn't contact. Now, I don't think they can be told off for hitting that penalty marker when it's been knocked over and put into the middle of the circuit. So I know that they'll be lenient on that one at least. Hopefully, for the sake of Antonio, it doesn't get stuck underneath his truck, and it doesn't seem to have done, which is good. They're like a very light foam, these penalty markers. They're hollow in the middle. It's almost like they get inflated up to the height that they are. They're a good 5 feet tall. But you couldn't kick one over, I tell you that. I stood next to one at Misano, and you can lean on them as a person. They're very sturdy. But the truck's sturdy enough to not get damaged by them. We're on lap 4 of the race here. The driver's keeping it clean at the moment, especially thanks to the 100% renewable HVO diesel that they all run on. There is Steffi Halm chasing down Mark Taylor. She's overtaken Jonathan Andre a bit further down. I'm being blamed by Jamie's social media manager now for giving them the curse of the commentator. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But Stefan Fass leads the race. Still, he's holding on so well at the front of the pack here. It's Scania, Iveco, MAN. And then MAN again with Norbert Kish lingering behind these guys. The devil horns showing over the top. You can see just the little white decals of Baloo's horns behind these guys at the front of the field as he chases them down time and time again. He's going for his 3rd race win of the weekend. He won race 2. He won race 3 earlier on today, and he's trying to get 2 wins on the bounce, I should say, for today alone, making it 3 for the weekend, and that would put him on an amazing 17 race wins. Now, my notes coming into this weekend said that Norby dominated like mad in 2015 with 19 race victories. That would mean over the next 2 race meetings, he'd only need to get 2 more wins to match that, and it's very likely that he will. So we'll have to keep our eyes out. I'm sure he'll show us, as he's now down the inside of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, making this look fantastic right now as they fly through the shade and back into the sunshine at the Villeneuve chicane. But there is the gorgeous Scania of Stefan Fass still leading the way. Norby didn't make it work that time round on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, but he makes a lot of ground on the exit of the chicane through Turleman box. Has to be patient as they go over the crest through the long sweeping left. And now Andre Kurzim, well, he knows that Norby is coming for them. He knows that he's chasing them down. So he is feeling a little bit more urgent now in trying to get past Stefan Fass for this race lead. The two of them were so evenly matched in the earlier encounter of the day. And it's going to be hard for him to get some sort of advantage. Steffi Halmer's got away from Mark Taylor now after overtaking him. So Steffi moves her way up into 11th place, not quite inside the top 10. This is fantastic defending by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, it must be said. He's driving with experience way beyond his years in this championship, but he's been a superstar in other truck racing series around the world. Side by side with Norby. If Norbert Kish can hold this outside line, it'll be perfect for him because it'll be the inside of turns 2, 3 and 4. Doesn't work this time round. Is he going to try and get over to the left? I'm not sure that'd work for him. I don't think he's got much choice though, as Jose Eduardo doesn't get the perfect run on the exit of turn 1. Norby tries to cut down the inside. That was a really lovely move through the second corner there at the Sterrenwacht bocht. And he has done it as well. He's gone from the outside of turn 1 to the inside of turn 2 and then the inside again at turn 3. Cuts back down the inside. Norbert Kish gets himself into a podium position as early as lap 6 of this race. A reminder that that counter in the top left of your screen is how many laps we have completed. I wondered where Jose Eduardo had gone then for a moment, but he was all the way over the other side of the circuit. Looked like he'd completely disappeared. Lots of penalty markers being hit all over the track by the look of it, thanks to Alice Holloway, who's down there in race control, letting us know of all of the potential penalty markers and investigations going on. I can so far tell you that we've had no less than 11 So a lot of drivers just having warnings at this moment in time. No penalties coming through for them yet. They get 2 warnings and then a 5-second penalty applied for hitting the penalty markers. And Andrei Kurzim, well, he's gone from attacking Stefan Fass to suddenly being under pressure now from reigning champion and 4-time champion Norbert Kish. These two have had some great battles in the past. I said this yesterday, and then Norby overtook him 2 corners later. We'll have to see whether Andrei can defend for long enough this time. You can see the amount of dust being kicked up there, actually, towards that hairpin. There's a lot of dust on the circuit from the different gravel traps that we have around here. As down the inside, much like yesterday, I say that Andrei Kurzim and Norby have had great battles, and Norby puts it to bed, moving up into 2nd position. It's just remarkable, isn't it? It's just... I can't even put it into words these days. I've run out of superlatives for Norbert Kish and that amazing red MAN that Revache Racing have built. The two of them go so well hand in hand. He's an absolute machine. And the way that he moves forward through the pack like this, so cleanly as well, is just remarkable. And the great thing about it is, you know, there's no sort of cries of any sort of untoward doing from any of his competitors either. They all massively respect it and know just how fast he is as well. That makes life easier for him. Stefan Fass pulls over to one side from the lead of the race. No, Stefan. He was leading the Promoters' Cup category in this race as well, clawing back vital points over Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and the truck has given up on him. Oh, it's heartbreak for Stefan Fass. He's put the very small hazards on. What on earth has happened, Stefan? What on earth has happened? That is absolutely devastating. Well, that now means that Norbert Kish can have an easy ride at the front of the order as we now make our way around the Villeneuve chicane on lap 7. Stefan seems to still be going at some pace, but maybe something has overheated and he just needs to slow it down and look after it, bring the truck back in. Seems like he's going to complete the lap. There's no fire or any smoke or anything, so he may as well save himself and the team a bit of time and bring it back to the paddock already. But he's been doing such a great job at the moment. That is a massive shame to lose the race like that. Again, you can see the amount of dust all over the trucks. It's like they've done the first couple of stages in the Paris-Dakar rally or something. It's just mad how dusty they end up. I think it looks great, though. I love a bit of weathering on these trucks. But that leaves us with Norbert Kish leading the race. He leads now by a couple of seconds over Andrei Kurzim. Jochen Hahn has made his way up into 3rd position past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and now he chases his fellow Iveco driver, Andrei Kurzim. Great battle for 2nd place beginning here, though. Jamie Anderson is in the thick of that with Antonio Albacete in there with him. And then Sasha Lenz, currently running in 7th place. Steffi Halmin 8th, ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecken 9th. Then John Newell inside the top 10. And oh no, it's falling apart here for Andrei Kurzim. He's under investigation for overspeeding. Now, I'm going to be that guy to say it, but it's not often that we see an investigation for overspeeding that gets the result back that they haven't been overspeeding. Let's just put it that way. I really hope for Andrei's case that is not the case, that he's overspeeding. But I feel like we may be seeing a penalty in a moment. I think it's straight to a 10-second penalty for overspeeding as well, not just a 5-second penalty. We'll have to see how the dice get rolled today. And there, into the pits, the almost sad-looking Scania of Stefan Fass-Lina there, thinking, what the heck is going on? I'm sure we'll maybe find out from Stefan in a little bit, and Lena can translate for us, but that is such a shame. But Norbert Kish, well, he won't complain about that. Race lead again for him in what has been another unreal season. Absolutely unreal. Still 2 race meetings to go, though, don't forget. In a few weeks' time, we head to the glorious Le Mans for the Bugatti circuit for the penultimate race meeting of the season. And then, of course, the finale at Jarama, where I'm delighted to say that I will be on site for. I'm really looking forward to that end of the season party that we always have at Jarama. It's a great racing track, and it's always an exciting weekend. It's been a pretty exciting weekend for Jochen Hahn as well. He sends it down the inside now of Andre Kursim, makes his way up into second place. Andre's going to try and mug him on the exit, though, with a cutback, and he's sideways, and it's side by side into turn 2. Jochen Hahn somehow sticks it to the inside. You can see all the dust coming off the trucks. Andre Kursim hanging it around the outside. He's going to make this one work, is he? Is he? Surely not all the way around the outside of turn 3. No, he does not. Jochen Hahn gets the place and moves in front. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wants a piece of this as well. But very quickly, we can head down, I believe, into the pit lane to speak to Lena and see if she's got Stefan Fass. I believe that she does.
Stefan, you're really, really mad. I can see it. So I will give you a second to vent. Just tell me what happened.
Ja, ich bin total sauer. Ich möchte einfach ins Zelt.
All right. So is it a technical issue again?
Ja.
Okay, so he's really, really mad. He just wants to go see his team. Went a little off, and he just told me it's the same technical issue as yesterday. So they got it fixed, and it broke again. So, of course, he's super mad now because he really did a great race so far. So that's that from Don here.
Thank you very much, Lena. I really appreciate that, at least getting a quick word with Stefan Fass. But I'm afraid they will not know what the problem is until they take a deeper dive and have a look in. But that is a huge shame indeed, as I'm afraid what I mentioned before about a potential overspeeding penalty for Andre Kursim, yep, it's now a 10-second penalty for him. And there it is, confirmed. Overspeeding, Andre Kursim will be slapped with 10 seconds added onto his race time, which means Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is in a position to claim his second overall podium of the weekend. He's now side by side with Andre, I believe, down the straight. I'm almost looking around the side of my monitor to see where he was. He's good at disappearing off the edge of the screen, is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He certainly uses all of the road. At the end of the day, he pays to enter the championship and he pays to use all the racing circuit, so why not, sunshine? Jamie Anderson there just in front of Antonio Albacete. It seems like Jamie's picked up his pace a little bit more in this final race of the weekend. They've been having a tough time with the pace here at Zolder before this. So it's nice to see that changing fortunes for him for now. Touch wood when I say that, so I don't upset his social media manager again. But Norbert Kish continues to lead. He's got 2.8 seconds over Jochen Hahn this time round, kicking up the dust once more. And apparently it was a brake hose for Stefan Fass. So I wonder whether, yet again, the curbs have struck here at Zolder. They can really upset these trucks. They may be big, tough, beefy machines, but it's easy to still dislodge something and to cause damage by hitting curbs. Steffi Halm, by the way, has made her way up into 8th position. It's a fantastic comeback through the order for Steffi. She's really worked hard after starting from the pit lane. She got going just as the race got underway. So the full order at the moment is Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn, Andre Kursim, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Jamie Anderson, Antonio Albacete, Sasha Lenz, Steffi Halm, Heinrich Clementecker, John Newell still inside the top 10, Mark Taylor in 11th, and Jonathan Andre in 12th position. Stefan Fass in the pit lane, and that is the clean sweep of the order for you at the moment. All those trucks mentioned running on 100% renewable HVO diesel at every single event of the season. Into the chicane once more comes Andre Kursim, still defending that position. Once again, Andre finds himself always defending positions. He's such a defensive driver. He's very good at it. Just maintaining his line, not seeming too phased by the drivers in front. And he's always, unfortunately, seems like a driver that just has to watch his mirrors all the time, because everybody seems to want a piece of it to try and get past him. But he's doing a great job at this moment in time, holding on ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Jamie Anderson, and Antonio Albacete, who just try and make the circuit a little bit wider down there on the exit of turn 1. Sasha Lenz sitting behind them this whole time. He's just not been able to make many inroads at this point, by the look of it. You can hear the tyres screaming for mercy around turn 3 down there at the Lucien Bianchi box. It's a great sight as they emerge from the smoke and the dust. Let's remember, it's dust, not smoke. Hard on the brakes into the chicane. This quintet of trucks led by Kursim, then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Jamie Anderson, Antonio Albacete and Sasha Lenz. Now, the little numbers that you see next to Andrei Kurzim's 3-letter designation, let's call it, on the side there, they're the ones that you need to add 10 seconds to. So that's his gap back from the overall race lead. So he will be behind all of these guys. So realistically, none of them need to fight to get past him right now if they want the extra position, but they won't all know that he's got a 10-second penalty. Depends how often they have communication with their engineers, team managers and whoever else. And yes, confirmed that a brake line snapped on Stefan Fass's truck. That is absolutely devastating and certainly not what you need around a track like this with such heavy braking zones. And at the end of the day, he did the right thing though, because he wanted to get the truck slowed down and make sure it wasn't up to a speed enough where he can then have to brake really, really hard. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to then try and test that theory going into a chicane like the Kleiner chicane and then have a brake failure. One of the scariest things that can happen to you in motorsport. So Stefan did the right thing. He backed out as soon as he knew that the brakes weren't quite right. He slowed the pace down so it didn't cause any further issues. There's the purple number 3 machine of Sascha Lenz, making his way around the first couple of corners, rather sideways to say the least. Sasha's always driven with this very flamboyant style. He's a great driver to watch. Great racer. And we are now on the final lap of the race with Norbert Kish leading the way. He's opened up a few more tenths of a second over Jochen Hahn that time round. There's one of those shots where you can see straight through the middle of that truck. You can see just how hollow it is on the inside. They do have very fascinating sort of radiator and grille arrangements on these racing trucks, and different pipes and tubing and all sorts for the air to be managed in terms of where it goes within the truck, and obviously the water jets as well for the intercoolers and the brakes. But Norby's truck looks almost completely hollow at one point. There you go again. You can just see a flash of it there as he changed direction. But you can see, look, there is the radiator at the back of it as well. So it's just where it perfectly lines up in a straight line. You can see through that radiator underneath the cab. But I'm sure you all know what I'm going to start talking about now, and that is the utter dominance of Norbert Kish in this 2023 season. This is going to be race win number 17 this year. The next driver down, when you're looking at how many wins they've got, is Jochen Hahn with 3 race victories. It's nice and relaxed in the garage for the Don't Touch Racing team, I'm sure. But at the moment, it's very relaxed at the front for Norbert Kish and Revesh Racing. Wherever you are in the world, I want you to put your hands together for this continued incredible form by this driver in this team. Norbert Kish wins round 24 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship in fantastic fashion. Very clean drive. Beautiful stuff. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez gets his 2nd overall podium of the weekend. Very well done to him, and a clean sweep of victories in the Promoters' Cup for him. Really good weekend for him and the team. And 2nd place again going to Jochen Hahn, so more vital championship points. Jamie Anderson finished 5th ahead of Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz, but they will all move up a position because of Andrei Kurzim. I'm just checking now. Kurzim will actually drop behind Steffi Halm as well, so Steffi gets an extra point there. Kurzim will be down in 8th place after that one. And breathe. Well, an interesting race indeed to round out our weekend here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Still plenty more coverage still to come for you all. We will go over our podium presentations and driver interviews and all sorts. There is Tim Frost walking away from the number 24 machine of Stefan Fass. I believe Javier Martin from Goodyear on the left-hand side there. It is indeed. Tim there giving the debrief for the T-Sport Bernau vlog. But Norbert Kish, yet again, just undefeatable. It's not a word that I want to use much because I don't mean any disrespect to any of his competitors. But he has just been, again, remarkable this weekend. The only reason they didn't win race 1 was because of a technical failure. He then overtook Antonio Albacete at the end of the race in race 2 yesterday. Then there was a count back, so he got the win taken away from him and it was handed to Antonio. Then Antonio got penalties, so the win was given back to Norby. And then he's gone out there today and he has won both races on the bounce. And let's not forget as well, he did that yesterday from 13th on the grid with the chaos of that second race. And thank you, by the way, to my good friend Conrad Jackson, who has just messaged me and let me know, because I must admit, I'm not the most 100% technically minded for the trucks and how they all work, but obviously with the brake line that snapped for Stefan Fass, they basically leak air into the brakes and they slowly come on, rather than the air being there to put them on, if that makes sense. I think I've got that the right way around. He's basically explained it as air holds the brakes off, so when that line snaps, then the brakes will come on all the time. That's where it came to a stop, so that may not have even been voluntary by Stefan Fass. He said it works the opposite way around on a truck. They leak air and the brakes slowly come on. So yeah, that's not ideal at all for Stefan Fass. So it wouldn't even be the fact that he was the one slowing the truck down. It would have just slowed itself down and he would have been flat out trying to get it to move. I imagine those brakes were rather toasty by the time that the truck came back into the pit lane. It's a real shame for Andrei Kursim. He got a podium earlier on in the weekend in race number 2, but now I'm afraid he does not get the podium this time round, despite finishing there on the road. It goes the way of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in the number 38 machine, and he wins the Promoters' Cup for the 4th race in a row. Listen for the horn on Norbert Kish's number 1 machine. Doesn't seem like we're going to get the horn this time round for Norby's very, very loud horn on that truck, I tell you. And a big round of applause from his team and everyone involved. And there is Jochen Hahn finishing in 2nd place. Another solid weekend for Jochen. Big championship points for him. 3 podiums. He's had, well, actually a race finish on all 3 steps of the podium. In race 1, he was 1st. In race 3, he was 3rd. And in race 4, he was 2nd. So he's had a 1st, 2nd and a 3rd from this weekend. Norbert Kish, 3 race victories on the bounce after a non-score in the first race of the weekend. And as you see there, Lena ready to give him an interview. We'll come to her in just a moment's time, and she will speak to Norby and get the reaction of our race winner once he's congratulated his team and spoken to them. Quickly as well, I'll mention the Promoters' Cup podium, which was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Heinrich Clemens Hecker and John Newell. So John Newell getting some more silverware for the team. That's his 3rd promotion. You at the circuit for just a moment. I think it's safe to say this weekend that the internet hates us. I'm sorry, everybody. We're going to hand down to Lena, who's there in the paddock for us.
Interview, and as we were wishing for to have one race with 12 laps, and you're ending up at number 1, and congratulations, we managed. Really, really amazing.
Thank you. Yes, well, again, very good race for us, and yeah, we were very strong already first lap, and then in the later laps as well. I mean, I can see the others struggling on the brakes, and Zolder is really hard on the brakes. So yeah, this is a unique circuit where you have to prepare your brake cooling, you know, different than everywhere else, and I think we are very well in that. And I can brake so late, you know, and I can see others struggling on these hard braking zones for the chicanes and everything, and then I could make these nice overtakes. You know, it's I am so happy, you know, because we are performing very well. The machine is, you know, dialed in for all type of circuits in the calendar, you know, so far. So, you know, yeah, really happy with the performance, really happy with the team, and yeah, big thank you for Avis Racing, you know, because, you know, without them it wouldn't be possible. So yeah, overall very happy.
Yeah, congratulations. And one last question, I'm always wondering, now you had the 12 rounds, are you always happy that it finishes after 12 rounds, or could you easily do another 12 rounds normally?
Well, yeah, I mean, we could go for longer, but I mean, this is the regulations. So the race tracks with the fuel capacity and with the brake cooling capacity, it's made for this distance. So, if we would want to go longer, we would need some technical modifications. But, for me as a driver, we could go. I mean, for sure, it's very hot in the cabin. And, I always drive with the windows closed and everything closed because, I mean, you can see, the dust and every kind of dirt, kicked up and everything. So, many years ago, I tried to go with open windows, but it's bad, because after the race, under your teeth, you can feel the dirt and everything. So, I always drive with a completely closed cabin to keep the inside, at least clean. It's hot, but we can go. We could go.
Yeah, that's the learning you have in all these years. And in case you're thirsty, the podium is waiting for you and some more champagne. So just go there, go get the trophy. And I think I will have 2 more interviews later on. Just come with me, because like behind those trucks, we have the podium waiting. It's super close here in Zolder, Belgium. So just back to you for now, and then back to the prize giving ceremony.
Thank you, Lena. Yes, that was another very lively race, wasn't it? Again, apologies for the connection issues, everybody. Sometimes at the circuits, the connection back to our studio in Neumarkt and then to yours truly does not always remain the most consistent, but we do what we can with what we've got. There is Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, happy with another podium in the Promoters' Cup. He finishes 2nd place this time round. Jochen Hahn gets a big handshake as well from some of the team members from Tank Pool 24. Jochen getting 2nd place overall in that race will be very, very happy indeed. Davide Califano there congratulating Norbert Kish on another race victory. And then Jochen Hahn as well getting congratulated. I think I saw Jill down there from the Heinrich Clemens-Hecker team as well, ready to watch the podium ceremony for the final time this weekend. And Jochen gives Norby another handshake and a big smile. And as well from Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, all 9'6" of him. And John Newell gives him a word of advice as well and says, drive faster, mate. As you heard there, maybe heard there, John saying it's getting better, it's getting better. Always improving is John Newell, and him and the team working on the truck all the time to get faster and faster. And constantly getting faster and faster as this man. 4 wins out of 4 this weekend in the Promoters' Cup for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and 2 overall podium finishes. Jochen Hahn makes his way up to the podium for 2nd position. And then Norbert Kish takes his 3rd race win of the weekend and his 17th, yes, really, 17th race win of the season from 24 races. Honestly, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Jochen Hahn with 3 wins, Antonio Albacete with 2, Lucas Hahn and Adam Lachko with 1 win apiece so far this year. And Norbert Kish now 19 podiums, 17 wins. Jochen with another trophy for the silverware warehouse that I'm sure him and the team have. And now we'll get the national anthem of Hungary for Norbert Kish. And for the final time this weekend, the national anthem rings out during the podium ceremony here at Zolder for the Belgian Truck Grand Prix. And Norby forgot his spare hat by the sound of it, or by the look of it, with that little signal there. But they have their Goodyear caps on, all smiles from the podium. You can see Jochen's already up to some sort of mischief. He always is. He's a very, very funny man, is Jochen. Not quite sure what they're discussing there. I'd love to be able to lip read better. But now. It's time for champagne. Jochen throws his hat to the fans. He's a little bit late getting to the champagne this time, and he may get soaked by Norby here. But Norby's going to soak the media and the teams as well down there after an amazing weekend for him. Sure, that first race win may not have gone his way, but he'll be happy with that one. Certainly massive step forward in the championship for Norbert Kish. And going to Le Mans, he could wrap it up for his 5th championship title, which would be his 3rd one on the bounce. 305 points now for Norbert Kish. He needs to be 120 clear, I believe, before he can wrap it up at the end of this weekend anyway. So obviously that is not going to happen. Jochen Hahn finishing in 2nd place, or is currently in 2nd place in the championship, I should say, with Sasha Lenz behind on 209 points. Antonio Albacete is next up in 4th position, with Andrei Kurzim now 9 points clear of Steffi Halm. Jamie Anderson 7th in the standings ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Lucas Hahn and Stefan Fass. You can hear all of the truck horns and the convoy going on in the background, can't you? Mark Taylor is now ahead of Adam Lachko in the championship on 29 points, with John Newell just behind Adam on 24. Heinrich Clementecker with 16 ahead of Louis Requenco, Jonathan Andre and Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort. Hopefully Louis Requenco and the team can easily fix the truck. As they said though, it's just not fixable while they're here at the circuit, so they need to get it back to the workshop and get it fixed for the next round at Le Mans. John Newell is 3rd in the Promoters' Cup for this round, with Heinrich Clemens-Hecker finishing in 2nd position and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez taking another victory in the category in what has been a fantastic season for him. He'll also be hoping to try and get closer to wrapping up the title in the Promoters' Cup at Le Mans in a couple of weeks' time. And the trophies given out, we will now get the national anthem of Portugal for our winner, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Wonderful singing there from one of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's team members. Thought it was our cameraman for a moment there. I was thinking, what the hecker, get it, is going on? Still, Heinrich Clemens-Hecker definitely up there on the podium. Nearly bangs his head on the gantry when he gets up there, but fantastic stuff in the Promoters' Cup by these guys. It's always a tough battle in the Promoters' Cup, and it's so lovely to see such great, healthy competition between them all. And there is Andreas's GoPro ready on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's champagne bottle. He gets soaked by John Newell. It's been a really good weekend for John and the team as well. 3 podium finishes for the NWT Motorsport team, and they can go home happy with some decent silverware before Le Mans and the next race meeting in the championship. Let's have a look at how the standings are though in the Promoters' Cup, leaving Zolder and the 6th race meeting out of 8 this season. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on 279 points, ahead of Stefan Fass on 240. Devastating stuff for Stefan. But John Newell now moves up into 3rd in the standings on 178 points, with Mark Taylor on 174 and then Lucas Hahn on 172. That's nice and close. It'd be great to get Lucas back as well to see if that battle can get reignited. Louis Requenco in 6th place ahead of Heinrich Clemens-Hecker. He's only a few points back now as well. Jonathan Andre and Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort still on the board. And Jonathan Andre, great to have him back this weekend and scoring consistent points in the category. Let's go back down to Lena, shall we?
Yes, and Jochen Hahn, who had quite a race, and I don't know if you had extra wind behind your truck. You started on 6th, you ended up 2nd, so how was your race from your perspective?
Yeah, first of all, on the third row, and Nobby is coming like hell. I say, okay, go away, and I follow, and that's the strategy, and it works. So maybe I must only follow him, and I'm on the 2nd place.
Was you in his shadow, in the wind shadow then, huh?
Yeah, okay, but it's a little bit of distance. Nobody can hold him in the moment. And from this side, I'm before Antonio and before Sasha. It's the battle for the 2nd place in the championship. Happy. Nice weekend.
How does your home look like? Do you have an extra shelf where you have all the trophies in? Like, how do you still celebrate so many trophies?
Calculate how many races I have. 600? I don't know. I have so many trophies, but
Only the special ones. It's in the presentation room. All others, look, I give it to him. I can make a smile to a child, you know. I have so many, but I enjoy it. That's fine.
That's really nice, and this is why we love Jochen, because you really have a big heart. So thank you so much. Go celebrate. You already smell like champagne, so I think some more might follow. And I will have Mr. Rodriguez in a second. Come on, come with me. Let's do this right here. He's already waiting. So before we go back to chess, oh man, look at this. It's like Oktoberfest or something. So many people at once. So we just need Mr. Rodriguez. Everyone wants him. Okay, Chess, I think we go back to you for now, and then we will go catch him. Everyone wants the winner. This is what it is. This is racing.
It's fantastically chaotic down there in the paddock. Lovely to see it, though. A great atmosphere and a great vibe. As always, I've absolutely loved being a part of this weekend. It's wonderful. Even when I'm commentating remotely from my studio back at home here in the UK, you still get an idea through the screen of what a positive place it is to be in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We're going to take a quick look back now at some of the highlights from race 4 and try and pick apart how that all developed, because so much went on during this last race of the weekend. The sun was shining. Some of the fans may have been yawning, but they didn't know how exciting the racing was going to be as it came around the corner. So, Stefan Fass and Andre Kurzim from the front row, two drivers that were battling like mad in race 3, certainly reignited the battle in race 4. Stefan Fass led so well early on, while Norbert Kish began to claw his way back up the order, picking off driver after driver. And as you heard from Jochen Hahn, he saw how quickly Norby was going through the field, and he wanted to follow on and gain some big championship points. Jamie Anderson was in the thick of the battles as well, while Jose Eduardo Rodriguez did everything he could do to try and secure an overall podium, and eventually he would do that with a penalty for Andre Kurzim. But while Norby made it up into second place, there was heartbreak for Stefan Fass as a brake line completely snapped, and that was the end of his race, and he would have to crawl the Scania back round into the pit lane. Soon, though, it was Norbert Kish out in front, breaking away from the top end of the field, and we went back to Jochen Hahn in second place and Eduardo Rodriguez in third. But we're going to go back down to Lena in the paddock one more time.
Yes, and it's quite loud down here because all the fans are celebrating on the track right now, as you can tell. But this is why I fell in love with this truck racing championship, because it has so many fans that are as excited as the drivers themselves, and I really found a spot in my heart for the European Truck Racing Championship. So I hope we will see each other again in Le Mans in only 2 weeks, I guess, pretty soon actually. So have a very lovely evening. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in a bit. And if you have a truck, give him a kiss, and I hope to get to see you somewhere live on track. Bye bye, see you soon.